I don't know how to describe it other than like a demon type of sound.
But it's silhouetted, hulking, every bit of 5.5 feet wide, 13 to 14 foot tall, pitch black.
The one thing that ran through my mind when I had this encounter was I don't have a big enough gun.
Your host, two-time witness and field researcher for more than 40 years, William Jevning. Welcome to Creek Devil.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Creek Devil. We have Chris with us today. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. Well, thank you.
Well, Tom, I'm going to have you go ahead and start things off.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, you and I spoke earlier this week, and you had a pretty incredible encounter, but actually you've had a few things going on. So I'm going to hand it off to you, and yeah, just start from the beginning and fill us in on what's going on. And by the way, just for our audience out there, I'm not going to give out Chris's precise location, but he's in Canada. And so we know these things are up there, maybe even more than we have.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm up here in Ontario, and this would be my second sighting, actually. And this happened during my week off. My original plan was I was supposed to head out to BC and probably Washington State and everything. But unfortunately, thanks to COVID, we decided to do a staycation. We thought, check out some spots, up in northeastern Ontario, up around the Temagami area, which coincidentally was the location of my very first sighting, and that was going back in 1998. My most recent sighting was on my vacation, and that occurred on September the 8th of this year. So basically it was, we tried camping a couple of days, wilderness camping. And then from there, I had my girlfriend with me, and it's kind of rainy and wet, so we made arrangements to also go to a cottage up around a place called Shining Tree, Ontario. And in the process of heading to the cottage, we'd have to pass through a little town called Elk Lake. And probably when we were about it was about 12 miles past Elk Lake, I spotted a dark figure on the edge of the road. A little bit of clearing. There's like a little swamp area. I think there's a little creek meandering on the left-hand side. And all I seen was this huge mass, huge shoulders, pretty much just hauling ass. Like I've never seen anything move this fast. Basically leaped up a rock face and jumped up, and boom, he was gone pretty much from there on in. I was thinking, what did I just see? Was that a bear? No, it could have been a bear. And I said, I just made the decision to pull over. And got out, and I told the girlfriend, I just seen something. She was the first one out of the car, out the side of the road, trying to see something. And then, I caught up with her. And we couldn't hear a thing. We didn't hear trees snapping, nothing. It was a very fast encounter, if you will. Like this thing was moving incredibly fast. I couldn't believe it. I knew what it was because this is the second time seeing these things. So I don't know how much more detail I can go. I probably could break it down a little more if you want any specifics there.
Yeah, I would. But, one of the questions I had is, or not so much a question, but an explanation and a description of absolutely how fast these things are. And, if I'd been thinking, we could actually do it right now. The width of a typical road, is this a 2-lane or a 4-lane road?
It's just a 2-lane road.
Okay, so a 2-lane road, I'm going to guess somewhere between 12 to 15 feet wide. That would include the shoulders. Does that sound about right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll be generous. We'll say 15 feet. And how long? I mean, like time-wise, 1 second, 2 seconds?
Oh, I had the dash cam going on the car, and oh shoot, The thing is with a car dash cam, it's almost like a fisheye lens, so it's pretty tough to capture something on that. But I know I probably got a 3 or 4 second sighting of this thing before the trees were obstructing my view and everything. That's when I pulled over. So, oh shoot!
All right,
And
I'm going to stop you right there.
Sure.
Let me real quick. So he started on the right side of the road, and this thing ran across to the left side. Is that right?
I'm not 100% sure, because as I was rounding that bend there, I was always keeping my eye out for moose, and it was on the left side of the road, the south side. I was keeping an eye out for moose for obvious reasons, because you don't want one of these things jumping in front of your car or anything. So I'm already keeping your eyes peeled for the ditches. And I just happened to be looking down on the left-hand side. And this thing was, say you're in the driver's seat and you have a 45-degree angle. This thing was heading away from the vehicle and heading toward a gray rock face, like a granite rock face, and just literally just leaped right up. So I would have to say I was probably pretty close to, I don't know, 150 to 100 feet. And the closest I got to it was maybe 60 feet when I started to, hit the brakes and pull over to the side.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. And I don't know if you and
I've never seen it. I've never seen anything move that fast. That's for
right.
Sure.
Okay. And so I don't recall when you and I spoke earlier this week, do you remember the color of the creature?
Yeah, it was all jet black. It stood out like a sore thumb. But, the first thing you think of when you first see it was a bear, except for it was standing on it was running on 2 legs. And there was great big, huge, wide shoulders. Like, I mean, really wide. This thing was built huge. A little bit of tapered down. It tapered down from the torso to the backside of this thing. And what I do remember is huge, broad shoulders and just a little bump in the middle of these shoulders for where the head is. Just a small little bump, pretty much.
Hey, Chris.
It didn't have any neck or anything. It was just basically shoulders, a small bump, almost like a pimple. Well, a little bigger than that. But, it was just heading away. Just before it got to that rock face, I literally seen the arms come out to the sides, bent at the elbows, and I think that's what helped him propel himself up that rock face.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back. You mentioned you've had 2 sightings. Before we go into any more detail with this one, take us back to the beginning. When you had your first encounter, what were you doing that day, and kind of walk us into that situation.
Sure. The very first encounter I came across one of these things was back in 1998, September 2nd, 1998. And from that previous sighting I just told you guys about, it is basically, I wrote it down because I was looking at Google Earth in relation. It's about 28 miles directly south as the crow flies, pretty much. So it's 28 miles south of that, the previous road crossing I just told you guys about. Myself and my brother, we were on a canoe camping trip, and we're on a lake called Lady Evelyn Lake. We're going through a section called the Narrows out here, and to my left-hand side, I seen something black again, on his haunches, head down, and was drinking out of the lake there. And then I sort of informed my brother, hey, look at that. Look, there's a bear right there. Take a look. He looked over too, and just at that same time, the thing just basically turned around, was started walking away on all 4s, took about 5 or 6 steps, and very fluidly just came up and stood up and just started walking off. And his arms were swinging backwards, and forwards and everything. So we know that, bears aren't built that way. They can't swing their arms out or anything like that. So I said, well, okay, well, that's not a bear because this thing is swinging his arms. But the one thing that was kind of peculiar about this thing, if this was a man, this guy was dressed all in black. He had a black balaclava on. He had a black coat on. Looked like he had a black black snow pants on, black pants, black shoes, everything, black gloves, which coincidentally looked like, best way to describe it is like, the modern day soccer goalies where they have these great big, protective gloves for catching balls and stuff like that. His hands were incredibly huge from what I've seen. So that's the one thing that stood out. And he was walking up a gently sloped shoreline, so it wasn't really that much of an incline. But when he stood up, it looked like he was like hunched over. Head was sort of hunched over too, and knees bent and everything too. It just looked like somebody that had a sore back. If that was an actual human being or a person or a camper or something like that, he was walking on all fours, gets up, but it looks like, well, he better off like walking on all fours because it looks like this guy has a sore back or something. That's what came to my mind when I first seen him. And, back in those days, I had no idea about, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or anything else like that. I always thought it was a myth or hoax or something like that. I never really had much exposure to it. So I never thought of anything of it until like many years later. And that's basically it as far as that sighting goes. But from that sighting, our destination was a place called Maple Mountain. And that was along our way. We made it there later on in the afternoon, set up camp. And that was September 2nd, 1998. And the only reason we know that exact date because we're sitting around the campfire and we're just getting news on the transistor radio we had that, Swiss Air Flight 111 crashed off of the east coast of Canada, so it's Peggy's Cove, I believe. So we were getting those news reports in. And, so it might have been 11, 12, maybe 1 o'clock or something like that. We started hearing these screams coming off the west side of that mountain that we're camped out on. And, at first we thought it's probably just a bobcat or something like that. And then we got up to the highest point on that ridge there to try and look in the dark and figure out where this thing was, howling and making all this noise. And this thing had to have been a lot bigger than a bobcat because it was more of a guttural howl or screams or something like that. That's the best way to describe it. And I was able to find something on the internet that came pretty close to it. And that was the Shawnee National Forest vocalizations. That was pretty much the closest thing. And again, my hair would stand on the back of my neck when I first listened to it, both in person and also hearing it again on, YouTube when I heard those recordings again. Very similar. And then the screams lasted on and off for about 15, maybe 20 minutes or something like that, and everything just sort of died right down, and we had no clue what it was. We didn't have big, powerful flashlights. We weren't scanning anything. We couldn't tell how far this thing, was away from us. Definitely wasn't on the mountain, but down below the bottom of this ridge. But we can hear this thing, and it had to have been pretty darn big to make those big guttural growls and screams.
Chris, one of the questions I had in that area is, have you spoke with anybody since then who's camped out there or been in that vicinity and heard any of these types of sounds?
Yeah, I've talked to a couple other folks in a couple of the Sasquatch or Bigfoot research organizations in Ontario. Like I think it's the Ontario Field Research guys. Talked to them about it. Also, Hastings County Sasquatch too. There's a couple other guys that I've consulted and talked to them about. Yeah, they shared some information. The Ontario Sasquatch guys, they mentioned that there was a couple people that had gone missing up in that area. I guess it was a camper or something like that, but he was out late season, I guess. But I eventually found his body, apparently, so in pieces, sort of scattered all over the place. I'm not too privy on all the details and everything like that, but
do you know if any of that got reported in the? Did it get reported officially in the like the press or the media?
Yeah, I think there was like a Michigan search and rescue team that came up there and volunteered their time to help with the search. I think they have something on their page about it. I remember looking at that. The only other thing, and I was looking through the media articles or doing searches and stuff. There was apparently two girls that were hiking up on that mountain too, and I'm just going by memory, and I might be off a little bit, but apparently one went to the bathroom and the other girl was giving her a little bit of privacy on the upper side of the trail, and she just heard a scream and she got taken away. She went down to see where her friend was, and there's no sight of her. She was totally just vanished.
Oh, really?
According to this article. So.
Okay, and this is in the same
search teams and everything. I'm sorry.
This isn't. No, I was just going to ask. This is in the same vicinity, same general area.
Oh yeah, that's in the Maple Mountain area and around there. Yeah, probably within 5-7 miles. Like the missing camper, and also the two girls that I think the two girls was within 3 miles of that mountain.
Okay, and do you remember the year?
It's not really a mountain, but a hill.
Yeah, I think it's a butte. It's a couple thousand feet, I think, in elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember approximately what year that was that the girls went missing, or the one girl went missing?
Again, I was looking for articles there. I can't find anything on it. I'm just going by what I've been told by the research groups. And I would imagine probably perhaps maybe 50, either 60s or 70s or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. So
again, I'm just taking a wild guess on it because I wasn't able to find too much information on it.
Right. No, but it is kind of interesting that her friend was there and she heard a scream. And just, if it had been animal predation, I would imagine, the dogs, even if it, heaven forbid, it's cadaver dogs, they would have found evidence. Mm-hmm. And if was there any trace of her found at any point?
No.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything about that, but like I said, I've been searching the web on this stuff. There's very little information on the web on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if it was that long ago, that's that stuff probably would not have made it into the web unless you had some archives. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't know where to go as far as where to search for the archives on that. It might be out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So I guess what we're looking for is historic precedents in this area. Do you know of any other encounters or reports, I would say, of, these screams, these odd sounds, missing people in this area?
I don't have a whole lot of other accounts other than, and again, it was the Ontario Sasquatch researchers there. They've been pretty good. Like, I think I might have sent you a link on the Duncanson Lake Genesqua that was photographed there. And as far as that, from Maple Mountain to where this, I think it was a retired couple that were staying at the cottages. That's only a 5-mile shot from where I heard those vocalizations. And as far as my sighting goes, let's see here, just pulling that up, 7.94 miles, according to Google Earth, from Duncanson Lake, where they actually photographed this thing. It's one of the best, clearest photographs of a creature. I guess First Nations might have called them Genesqua or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, and I think down in also in the States, some of the Midwest states, they had a similar term. Basically, as far as I can tell, it sounds like a Bigfoot. It's just the bad of the bad.
Yeah.
And hard to kill, which is pretty much all of them.
Yeah. And again, I'm going on a data map here. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 7 Sasquatch sightings, 8, 9, 10, probably about 15 other historic Sasquatch sightings that date right back until 1922. And there's enough information on the web. A lot of miners back in the early settlement days, and when they're doing a lot of mining up around this area, they spotted a creature called Old Yellowtop. That was the nickname they gave him. Prior to that, I think it was Precambrian Shield Man or something. And that was,
I think there's
probably do a search on that. You'd be able to find that easily on the web.
Sure. Yeah. I think they have probably hundreds of names. None of them very complimentary.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's. I want to kind of go back because the sighting or the one you had on the road crossing. Take us back to that one more time, and just kind of just tell what was going on and just describe it in detail, and we'll go from there.
Well, like I said, I was rounding bend. I was about 12 miles outside of Elk Lake, Ontario, and I can tell you with a fact, most of it, this is the first time going down this road, and my destination was Shining Tree, and I was like just around this little bend, and again, on my left-hand side, I caught a glimpse of a great big black figure, and this thing was huge, and this thing was moving at an incredible speed, and again, I was baffled there. It's like, okay, what am I seeing? Am I seeing something here? Is my mind playing tricks on me? And the thing is, you can't mistake it for, a tree or an optical illusion or anything like that, because, like I said, it was heading away from the vehicle on a 45-degree angle as you're traveling down the road. So I wouldn't say it would be keeping pace with you, but I'm looking out the side window on my left-hand side, south side of the road, and I'm just following this creature here. And next thing you know, all I see is great big huge shoulders, tapered down body, running on 2 legs, and all I see is the arms extend. Like, it already has great big huge shoulders, and the arms extend, and it basically bent the other forearms basically bent at the elbows, looks like us, and basically just looked like it was using his hands to just propel itself right up that hill, or help climb up that hill. And all jet black. It stood out from the trees, stood out from the grass, there was no mistake in it. Like, I think this is something. This was a living, breathing creature that was doing this, and this is running through your mind. You have a few split seconds of going, okay, did I just see that? Was that a bear? No, it wasn't a bear. Okay, what should I do? Keep on going, or should I pull over? Damn it, I'm pulling over. So just a split second thought, yeah, I better pull over. So that's when I pulled over, and basically my girlfriend, I told her about my first experience there. And, she was of the opinion, oh, now I want to see one. Because we started listening to other videos and stuff like that online, listening to Creek Devil, and,
that's
other
the best
shows
one.
Online. And it's like thousands of people have been seeing these things all over the place and going, and she scratched her head and going, holy shit, there's no way that people are, making this up, because a lot of the descriptions are pretty darn close to what everybody else is experiencing.
Oh yeah, that's exactly correct. Let me back up for a second. So you saw this thing as it crosses the road, and did you get a chance? Did you get close enough to it so that it wasn't just in the windshield? Did you get it? Did you get a sighting of it out your side window?
It was pretty much a side window, Tom, because like I said, when I was rounding that bend, I was keeping my eyes peeled on the ditches there, and she was looking on the opposite side of the road. And I said, just keep your eyes peeled, because we don't want a moose flying up in front of us and crashing the car on us, because they can do a lot of damage. And I didn't, like I said, I was looking at the side of the road. I wasn't, I might have glanced to the front, like what's down road or down range of where we're heading, but I didn't see anything actually cross the road. The camera may have caught that. I don't know. Unfortunately, it's going to have to be analyzed by, some professionals or something like that. But yeah, I was pretty much looking on the side of the road, and that's basically where I caught a glimpse of it, when the bushes were, a little lower, because it's pretty much bushy on the side of those roads there.
Yeah,
and there was this little opening here.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm asking is if you see it out your driver's side window, that means you're pretty close to this thing. So you saw his shoulders, you saw the creature running, and did you get a sense of, if you had to just guess, what was the height of the creature?
Okay, well, first of all, I think the closest I got to him was, I had to have been about 150, 100 feet when I got a glimpse of him here. So I'd easily, I hate to be conservative on this, but I'd say anywhere from 7 to 8 feet tall. And that's being on the conservative side, but it could very well have been like 9 feet tall easily. But to be on the safe side, I would say about 7 to 8 feet tall easy.
Okay. And I'm going to be a little bit facetious here, but we're gonna kind of eliminate the bears. How many bears run that fast, stand up? A black bear. I don't know about your black bears, but our black bears are, even when they stand up, they're not going to be anywhere near that in height. And they don't move fast. They don't move fast on all four. Well, they do move fast on all fours, but on two legs, they just kind of waddle.
Yeah, when I got up to the outfitter up there, I said, what's the average size of the bears you guys get up here? Because, we do a lot of bear outfit. And they said, 150-pound bear, that'd be the average size most of the hunters get up here. And I go, okay. This thing, there's no way a 150-pound bear is going to be like 7, 8 feet tall.
Yeah, not at all. And they don't move that fast on two legs.
No. I spend enough time in the woods. I'm a hunter, and, I've shot a few bears, even had bears, charge me, and one almost run me over. I was doing a John Wayne with my lever action, and trying to, steer him away from, running over me, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, the difference. Yeah,
so you guys stopped. You pulled over. You're okay, and you said your girlfriend got out of the car and walked back. Did she or you?
Yeah, she was the first one on the edge of the road.
Okay.
I'm fumbling trying to get a phone, my cell phone, and a video, up and ready to go. I said, I better get back out there for if something happens to her. That's what's in mind, anyways. So,
did either her or you? Did you guys hear anything? Like crashing up?
Nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah, you think something that big would be like busting through bush and branches and stuff like that. Because if you look at the car video, it's pretty thick bush up there.
Yeah, right. Well, it's thick brush, but two things. One, I think they're quite stealthy, but the other thing is, you saw it running across the road. That doesn't mean it didn't stop and turn around and look back at you. Where it can see you, but you can't see it.
Yeah, I thought about that too. In retrospect, when we're driving down the road, I was saying, it could have ran up there and just was hiding and just watching us. You never know. I've talked to a couple other friends, like in Hastings County, Sasquatch. He suggested the same thing. This thing was probably up on the hill there, looking at you.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, they're very intelligent, and
but yeah, we didn't hear anything. We were looking around. I had the video ready at if I saw anything, ready to hit record. I was looking along the edge of the road for any tracks or anything like that, and nothing at all.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's pretty typical. A lot of people just see the roadside crossings and they just keep going. So the fact that you guys stopped, got out, checked it out, that's kind of unique. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like you said, if he wasn't running so fast, we'd been able to get a photograph of him.
Right. I think that's part of their strategy.
Yeah, I don't know, but here's the thing. Hardly any traffic on that road except for lumber trucks. I guarantee you, there's like every 15, 20 minutes there'll be a lumber truck. And when we got into that Elk Lake, I want to take my time. I'm in no rush. I'm on vacation here, so I'd pull over and let the lumber trucks go by and carry on my way. And I was doing the speed limit, wasn't speeding or anything like that, and came around the bend. So it could have been I just surprised her, caught her off guard or something like that. But I guarantee you, if anybody else would have seen it, it's probably these lumber trucks, because there's like a ton of lumber trucks that are running up and down those roads back and forth. So I'd be very surprised if none of these loggers or anything like that, or truck drivers haven't seen anything up there.
Yeah, that'd be real interesting to find out. Well, Chris, I got to thank you, and if you run across anything else, or if you hear from any of those loggers, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, yeah, I'll be hitting the woods there for deer hunting in the next couple of weeks, so I'll have my camera ready. That's for sure.
Very interesting, Chris. We sure appreciate it.
Well, yeah. Well, it wasn't really too much other than I tried to submit in the video to you guys, and hopefully you guys can. Maybe you can pull something out of it. I don't know, but
yeah, Tom's pretty good.
Pull something out of it. Feel free to share it, man.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, you guys take care.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Creek Devil. If you or anyone you know has had an encounter with these creatures, please contact us at williamjevning@yahoo.com. That's William, Jevning, @yahoo.com. All communication is confidential. Join us for another program next week. And until then, keep your eyes open out there.